Hello guys, and welcome back to another First Impressions video. So today we are checking out a game called Record of... What the fuck is this game called? One second. Oh, okay. The game is called Record of Lodoss War, or Lodoss. No clue. English is my second language, so take it easy guys. In my most recent discussions and impression videos, we have been covering these top-down, isometric MMORPGs, and here we are with another one. Personally, there hasn't been many MMOs that have caught my eye lately. Nothing that I really want to do a first impressions on or even cover as far as news videos go, because there hasn't been much news really. But after making a visit to 2P's website, I saw an article about this game, and also Steparu uploaded a video covering this game. The way they made it seem was that this game was in another region or something, but it's not. It's very easy to sign up and it's free to play. So this is a first impressions, and it's going to be more like my usual first impressions where it's not live. It's pretty much a recap of everything that I've been through, things that I liked, things that I disliked, and just kind of letting you guys know about the game. So it's not a full game review, so please don't take it that way. And everything in this video might not be correct, it might not be accurate, and that is because I feel that I barely scratched the surface of this game. But I did get to explore many features, so I feel that I've experienced enough to at least give you guys a first impressions video. So to start off, this game seems to have a decent amount of lore to it. So if you guys are into stories, anime, dialogue, the history of the continent in which several wars raged, things like that, I think you'll enjoy that part of this game. And I also believe this game even has an anime. I probably won't check it out myself, but if any of you guys have seen this anime, let me know what you thought about it. Now after the story, of course you get to create your character. The character customization in this game is definitely lacking. Now maybe it's because it's based off an anime, so you're choosing some of the main characters from the show. I have no clue. But you get to choose from 4 different classes. A male who uses a sword and shield, and he seems to be the tank role of the game. And then you have this female who uses a mace and shield. You have a rogue who is a lowly kitty, and last you have a mage. Now I can't tell if this is a male or female. I should probably go back and read the description of this character.
Sir, I have confirmation that that is a young boy.
After creating your character, you get thrown into a tutorial if you choose to do so, and I recommend it. It wasn't a bad tutorial. It teaches you a lot, and it doesn't last too long. During this tutorial, I noticed that the dialogue, the translations were not 100%. They weren't the best. I also noticed the use of these Chinese emojis. You can find these emojis in Revelation Online and other Chinese games, so I think it's funny that they constantly use these. But here are some of my favorite quotes so far from the couple hours that I played. The girl with the dog named Porch says, "It's stupid goblin," after you fight a goblin to defend her and she tells you not to kill it, and then that goblin comes back to kill her, so you have to kill it. She also calls you a he. "Did you just assume my gender?" She later says, "Thanks for saving," instead of "thanks for saving me." Kind of made me feel like they were breaking the fourth wall there. Actually, they do later on, because there's an NPC that says, "Press the space bar," and the other NPC says, "What's a space bar?" But this is my favorite quote of all. "Oh boy, the chief is always so hard." Oh, wait a second, what are you talking about? One of the cool features is that you can fast forward the dialogue and cutscenes of this game by just holding the space bar. Another cool feature that you can do with the space bar, and it has this unique looking animation, is pretty much loot. So if you're in certain areas and you press space, you'll see this Full Metal Alchemist transmutation circle underneath you, and sometimes you can find cool loot, chests, and items. The one thing that really stood out to me was the soundtrack. The soundtrack sounds and feels very nostalgic, almost as if I'm exploring Dragon Quest back on the PS2. So I really did like the soundtrack, and I wish that more open world third-person games had music like this, because it would feel more immersive and just beautiful. In a game like this, in any isometric top-down game, I always feel like I'm just playing a game, you know? It never feels like I'm immersed into it, simply because of the point of view. I chose a rogue character because it's either daggers or a greatsword for me, so no greatsword, had to go with the daggers. Maybe there is a greatsword later. I don't know if the characters can split their paths and take different weapons, maybe. If so, I didn't get to that part. I enjoy the skill system of this game though, and the skill system in this game isn't too unique, but it's not the most simple skill system in the world. So you have active, passive, and reaction skills. And reaction skills break down into different categories, including chain, job, buff, and special. Now I don't know exactly what the chain job buff special all means. I'm assuming that job possibly ties into a job that you choose later in the game. Buff is probably a chain skill that buffs you. I mean, it sounds pretty self-explanatory. So the cool thing about this is that your active skills are of course the ones placed on your hotbar that you will press to actually use a skill. Your passive skills are exactly that, passive skills. Reaction skills go off without you having to press anything, at least from what I played so far. So as long as I have these reaction skills toggled on while attacking an enemy, they will just go off sometimes and they'll deal a shit ton of damage. I thought it was kind of cool, but it also felt slightly cheesy, kind of made killing enemies feel a bit too easy. I only really had 1 or 2 active skills to use throughout this first impression, so that didn't make it any better. It was like my chain skills were doing most of the damage. Now maybe if I had a hotbar full of active skills, then it wouldn't feel so cheesy. So maybe early game it feels that way, but late game it feels much better. To unlock these skills you have to go to the master of your class, so I had to go to the rogue master, and you use SP in order to acquire new skills, but you also have to pay a bit of gold. The amount of gold that I had to spend throughout this first impressions really didn't dent my wallet whatsoever, because I spent a lot of time farming these enemies for a couple quests. So I was kind of loaded compared to the amount needed to buy these skills. I also noticed that party size seems to be fucking huge. I got invited to a party multiple times and I was in a party of like 8 people, maybe more, maybe a little less. I don't really remember, but I guess if you're looking at the screen you'll see just how many people I was in a party with. Now maybe they called it party, but maybe it was actually a raid. I didn't experiment with it too much, but if party sizes can go up to 8 people in a dungeon, that's pretty cool. If this game only has parties, then I guess it's like a party slash raid. I noticed that while doing the first dungeon instance, which was more like a tutorial introduction to dungeons, my character sounded like a dog toy. Actually, I don't know if that was my character, maybe it was the mobs, because since then my character stopped sounding like a dog toy, but sounded more like a screaming anime girl. So if you're playing a rogue, if you're going to be playing the lowly kitty, get used to that. The world map was pretty big, decent in size, and you can see that it's broken apart into a bunch of different areas. Each of these areas is instanced, so to get to the next area you have to pretty much walk and click on the pathway, and the loading times were very short until playing today. Now today they only seem to take a long time to load, and I noticed a lot of lag and a lot of delay in using my skills, and I'm assuming that's because a lot of new players join the game, or maybe I'm playing at the peak time of this game. Whatever the reason, I hope they do fix this server lag, because it can definitely kill the enjoyment of playing this game at all. Last night though, it was pretty much smooth. The only thing that I experienced was a bunch of rubber banding, which I still experience today. So when attacking an enemy, it seems as if they get in position and it's like your character just flings to a different spot. Rubber banding. I don't know if it's meant to be that way because your character has to be at a certain distance in order to attack, or if it's just rubber banding. Whatever it is, I didn't like it. You also get chests that you can open and choose, you know, a random box, and you might get a cool accessory, you might get a cool weapon or armor, and whatever you get is usually bound. The cool thing about this game is that items can be unbound X amount of times. So I noticed that my shoulder pads can be unbound up to 5 times, assuming this allows me to maybe transfer it to a different character or put it on the auction house, trade it to another player. I don't know, but being able to unbind items is a pretty cool feature. This game definitely reminds me of Tree of Savior, but a more mature version of the game, because everyone's not a chibi character. Before making this video, I did my first real dungeon, and I did it solo. It definitely wasn't fun playing solo, so playing with a group of players would definitely have been a better experience, and I pretty much cleared out this whole entire dungeon, attacking each mob one by one. That combined with the server lag was definitely a shit experience, and the boss wasn't really that cool or exciting to go up against, but because this was my first dungeon and the level requirement is only level 10, I don't expect the boss to be anything epic. One thing though is that I haven't noticed any enemies that have telegraphs or any enemies that allow you to dodge by moving. And yes, if you don't know by now, this is a point and click move kind of game. I'm hoping that late game you fight bosses or enemies that have telegraphs or use certain moves that require you to move out the way. Because honestly, what's the point? It seems more like a turn-based kind of game if you just stand in one spot and just spam skills. It's not really fun. I want more freedom. I want to feel like the game requires more skill. not just RNG based and standing in one spot, pressing 1 until the enemy dies. So I hope that that will become a thing in the game, actually having to dodge and use player skill to do so. I would assume so. And since I'm only level 10, you know, maybe that's why I haven't experienced anything like that. Also guys, if you hear a bird in the background, I'm very sorry about that, but I moved to a new location, so recording these videos is going to be pretty hard to not have that background noise since I live by the woods. So overall, I found this game to be very enjoyable, even though it had a few flaws. I believe the game just released a day or so ago, so I don't expect it to be perfect, but it wasn't disconnecting me. I didn't have really bad server lag when I started. That only started today, and if the team is trustworthy, if they're on their shit, then they should be fixing it soon. As far as graphics go, well, of course you're not looking at anything amazing here, but you're looking at a more anime art style 2D kind of game. So see it for what it is, and I think you'll enjoy it. If you like anime, if you're a weeaboo, if you like top-down Diablo kind of games, throw that all in a mixing bowl and you have this game, Lodoss War Online, or yeah, whatever. So let me know what you guys think about this game, and I'll catch you down in the comment section and in the next video. See you soon, friends.